Hello guys, hope you're doing well. In this video, I'm going to solve two similar and very important examples for you. So stay with me until the end of the video. In this question, if cotangent of 34 degrees is equal 1.5, so what is the value of 2 sine of 326 degrees plus 3 sine of 56 degrees divided by cosine of 304 degrees? Okay, so we don't know any of the trigonometric ratios of these angles, but we do know that cotangent 34 degrees is 1.5. So since the problem gives us a cotangent of 34 degrees, so these angles need to be converted to 34 degrees in same way. Okay, so in fact add 34 to these angles once and subtract 34 degrees from the ones to see whether any of them become, for example, 90 degrees or 180 degrees or 270 degrees or 360 degrees. Take a look at this unit circle. $90 degrees or 180 degrees or 270 degrees or 360 degrees. So why do we do this? You're about to see for yourself. Okay, so we know that 326 plus 34 degrees is equal 360 degrees. Okay, so we can say 326 degrees is equal 360 degrees minus 34 degrees. Okay, and 56 degrees is equal 90 degrees minus 34 degrees, and 304 degrees is equal 270 degrees plus 34 degrees. Okay, so we can say this fraction is equal two times sine of 326 degrees is equal sine of 360 degrees minus 34 degrees plus 3 times sine of 56 degrees is equal 90 degrees minus 34. 90 degrees minus 34 degrees divided by cosine of 304 degrees is equal 270 degrees plus 34 degrees. Okay, so we know that sine of 360 degrees minus 34 degrees. So look at this unit circle. 360 degrees is here minus 34 is here. So the sign of sine is in the fourth quadrant is negative. So sine of 360 degrees minus 34 degrees is equal minus sine of 34 degrees. And here sine of 90 degrees minus 34 degrees is equal, 90 degrees is here, minus 34 degrees is in the first quadrant, and we know that the sign of sine is positive and 90 act like acid, so sine of 90 degrees minus 34 degrees is equal positive cosine of 34 degrees. And finally, cosine of 270 degrees plus 34 degrees, 270 degrees plus 34 degrees is in the fourth quadrant. So the sign of cosine is positive and 270 degrees like acid, and cosine of 270 degrees plus 34 degrees is equal positive sine of 34 degrees. So this fraction is equal to sine of minus 34 degrees plus 3 sine of 90 degrees minus 34 degrees is equal positive cosine of 34 degrees, and cosine of 270 degrees plus 34 degrees is equal sine of 34 degrees. Okay, so if we divide both the numerator and the denominator by sine of 34 degrees, we have minus 2 sine of 34 degrees divided by sine of 34 degrees plus 3 cosine of 34 degrees divided by sine of 34 degrees divided by sine of 34 degrees divided by sine of 34 degrees. Okay, so sine of 34 degrees divided by sine of 34 degrees, they cancel out, and we have minus 2 plus 3 cosine 34 degrees divided by sine of 34 degrees is equal cotangent. We have 3 cotangent 34 degrees divided by sine of 34 degrees divided by sine of 34 degrees is equal 1. So we have minus 2 plus 3 times, we know that cotangent of 34 degrees is equal 1.5. So minus 2 plus 4.5 minus 2 is equal to 2.5. Okay, look at this question. If tangent 20 degrees is equal 0.4, what is the value of these fractions? We follow the exact same steps in the previous examples. We don't know any of the trigonometric ratios of this angle. Okay? But we do know that tangent of 20 degrees. Okay? So this angle need to be converted to 20 degrees in same way. So sine of 250 degrees is equal sine of 270 degrees minus 20 degrees, or sine of 700 degrees is equal sine of 700 degrees plus 20 degrees and 720 degrees minus 20 degrees. Okay, and cosine of 560 degrees is equal cosine of 540 degrees plus 20 degrees, and finally cosine of 110 degrees is equal cosine of 90 degrees plus 20 degrees. Okay, so sine of 270 degrees minus 20 degrees is in the third quadrant. Okay, so this answer have negative, and 270 degrees act like acid, and we know that sine of 270 degrees minus 20 degrees is equal cosine of 20 degrees. Okay, and sine of 720 degrees is equal, look at this, 720 degrees is equal to 2 times 360 degrees. Okay, so take a look at this unit circle. So here is 0 point, and when we moving counterclockwise we reach 360 degrees, and keep moving counterclockwise, so we reach 720 degrees. So here is 720 degrees minus 20 degrees is in the fourth quadrant. So the sine of sine is in the fourth quadrant is minus of sine of 20 degrees. Okay, and cosine 540 degrees is here, because here is 0 point, and when we moving counterclockwise we reach 360 degrees, and keep moving counterclockwise we reach here, it means 360 degrees plus 180 degrees. 180 degrees is equal 540 degrees. Okay, so 540 degrees is here plus 20 degrees is in the third quadrant. So we have negative, and cosine of 540 degrees plus 20 degrees is equal minus cosine of 20 degrees. And finally, cosine of 90 degrees plus 20 degrees, 90 degrees plus 20 degrees is in the second quadrant. And sine of cosine is negative, and 90 degrees act like acid, and we have sine of 20 degrees. Okay, so this fraction is equal sine of 250 degrees is equal minus cosine of 20 degrees plus sine of 700 degrees is equal minus sine of 20 degrees. Cosine of 560 degrees is equal minus cosine of 20 degrees, and minus cosine of 110 degrees is equal minus is positive sine of 20 degrees. Okay, now that all the angles have been converted to 20 degrees, it's time to convert all the trigonometric ratios to tangent. We know that tangent of 20 degrees is equal sine of 20 degrees divided by cosine of 20 degrees. Okay, so if we divide the numerator and the denominator by cosine of 20 degrees, we have cosine of 20 degrees divided by cosine of 20 degrees. Look at this, minus cosine of 20 degrees divided by cosine of 20 degrees minus sine of 20 degrees divided by cosine of 20 degrees divided by minus cosine of 20 degrees divided by cosine of 20 degrees plus sine of 20 degrees divided by cosine of 20 degrees. Okay, so here is equal 1, so we have minus 1 minus sine 20 degrees divided by cosine 20 degrees is equal minus tangent of 20 degrees divided by, here is minus 1 plus sine 20 degrees divided by cosine 20 degrees is equal tangent of 20 degrees. And we know that tangent of 20 degrees is equal 0.4. So the answer is minus 1 minus 0.4 minus 1 plus 0.4. Minus 1 minus 0.4 is equal minus 1.4 divided by minus 1 plus 0.4 is equal minus 0.6. Okay, so minus and minus, they cancel out, and if we multiply the numerator and the denominator by 10, we have 14 divided by 6 or 7/3.